Hello everybody, Aaron here
And Anissa
from Countryside Acres. We thought we'd throw a little video explaining some of the things we haven't talked about. So lots of things. One thing here, we received a lot of donations for a van and we didn't end up buying a van that would fit us, and I know there were some questions regarding that, and that's because we were planning things behind the scenes. I guess we bought something that was very cheap and affordable that a friend of ours had, and we put the rest into a motorhome eventually. We weren't necessarily looking for a motorhome right away. We're looking for a bus that we can convert. This motorhome ended up being extremely cheap.
We got a lot of donations. We really appreciated those donations, and we don't want anybody to think that we didn't appreciate them.
And at the time we definitely needed them too.
Oh, so, absolutely. Yeah. So we decided to take the money, or some of the money, and put it into a smaller vehicle just so that we could get to the grocery store or get around and
yep. The big van that we lost, something like that, cost $30,000 to replace.
If not more. Yeah, that's a used one.
And knowing that we were potentially... There's some chicken activity going on.
Another thing that we were talking about for years and years is that we have such a large family, and all of our family and friends, when we went to travel, they're like 6 hours or 7 hours away, some of them, or 5 hours in another direction. So every time we had to go and travel, we had to usually get a hotel or somewhere to sleep overnight. And being that we have such a large family now, it gets more and more expensive. It's also very hard for us to get one room, because a lot of motels or hotels won't allow us to sleep in one room now. So
too many kids, apparently.
Yeah, we have too many children, so it's...
Never figured that one out. They figure it's easier to get us out of 2 rooms in case of a fire than 1.
Yeah, so something about the capacity of the room. And anyway, so some hotels we have had a lot of discrimination because of our large family size, and it's very difficult and frustrating, especially when you're like really tired and then you try to find a hotel room, right, and you can't find it so late in the night, right? So we decided a long time ago that it would be very convenient if we got a vehicle that we could sleep in. Also, bathrooms, during the issue that happened in the last 2 years with, dare I say, the nonsense, a lot of the bathrooms on our trips down south were closed. So a family of our size, we need a bathroom, and it was very difficult to find one that we could use on our travels. So again, we thought about, well, if we can convert a van or something that our family could travel in and have a bathroom and have maybe some sleeping accommodations, and we could just pull over and find somewhere to sleep. So that kind of led us into the search that we have been doing for quite a long time and discussing it for quite a long time, of getting a vehicle that we could travel in down to locations.
Well, we do a lot of driving anyway to visit people. And
yeah, so we had already
to be able to sit at a desk and do homeschool.
Right, we had already been discussing that, and that it would be convenient for our kids to just sit and do schoolwork while we're driving, because it is such a long drive. So we had already been discussing all that, and then our van burnt. So it was like, do we go and buy another vehicle that we can all fit in, or do we actually look for something that is much more practical for what our needs are? So when the van burnt, we were like, okay, well, maybe we should just get something cheap so that we can get to hospital if we need to, or we can get to a grocery store if we need to, or go and get gas or whatever.
It's been handy. It's been really
very handy,
cheap on fuel too.
Exactly. So then we were looking at buying a vehicle like what kind of vehicle? We were looking at getting like an old
school bus. We looked at.
Yeah, we looked at a school bus, and we thought about converting it. We didn't want the big one, but we were looking into a smaller one.
And then they had the fancier, like a shuttle.
Yeah, like one of those shuttle buses from like an airplane.
They're already white on the outside, so you don't have to
we were looking at that, but they were like extremely expensive. So I think we priced out one that was like the cheapest one we could find, that had a lot of high kilometers, and it was like close to $16,000 or $17,000 and that was just like bare.
We still had
to convert it and
put
make
a bathroom in, put a holding tank in, put batteries in, put lights in, put heat in, shower.
Yeah, so we had to like basically make it our own, and that was a lot of money. We couldn't afford that. Even with the donations that we greatly received, we couldn't afford that. So we were looking, and it just so happens that you looked in another province, and you happened to come up with this motorhome that we are now.
This guy.
Anyway, so we ended up buying that motorhome for less money than what we were pricing out for a different vehicle. So what did we end up $13,000 for this thing?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. They were asking more, but I got them down to 13,000 roughly.
And it is in really good shape.
Yeah, we had to put $2,000 worth of tires on. But
Right, but
other than that,
if you had got them to do it, it was going to cost us a lot more money.
Oh, yeah,
so
they were talking another $5,000
we took it as is, and then we just did what we needed, right? And it didn't take. We've kept it very, very minimal with the renovations.
yeah,
and,
renovations is about $1,500 worth of lumber roughly.
Yeah.
And then you have all, you know, the cot mattresses, things like that cost a few dollars. But
Right, but it's still minimal compared to what we would have had to spend to put plumbing in, to put electrical in, to put,
Oh, yeah.
you know, everything. We would have had to buy
basically everything works, functions good.
and everything. Yeah, basic. And the odd, you know, you got the hiccups. It's an older model, so you got all those hiccups that, you know, you have in older vehicles or whatever. But so far, it
1998,
is,
so it's 25 years old. It's by far new. Actually, a lot of people have been surprised at how old it is because it looks nice. Like
right.
it's in really nice shape.
Yeah, it is. Oh,
You can turn it or wait.
just lately. So there we go. So
It's in good
that
shape.
brings us back to the reality of today. We have been debating for a long, long time what we are going to do in our life.
Knowing that we were potentially going to sell and move out of country, it didn't make any sense to buy a big vehicle like that, and that's why we didn't. We bought a small vehicle, and yeah, just made do with it, I guess.
We are obviously movers, and we're not afraid of moving. We've moved. Everybody that knows us knows that we move a lot, and this place we were hoping that was going to be our forever home. Through prayer, a lot of discussion, and we decided, yes, we are going to sell our homestead, and we are going to move on. And then during that process, we have decided to sell everything. Even the chickens.
I don't know. That chicken's
Even the
doing-
chickens.
I think it's trying to fly up onto a mezzanine.
So we've decided to sell everything. And it started as a very difficult process of getting rid of our things. And then...
And you all know that. You all know you've collected stuff. I always joke, you go through town and when the garage doors are open in the summer, you drive through a subdivision and everybody's garage is just stuffed full of junk. And they can't even park their car in it. But it's all important. It all has a meaning. It all, you know, becomes part of you. So to get rid of it is tough,
Right.
which we've now done. We've reduced down to basically just what fits in the motorhome. It's been really refreshing. Like, it's been just nice to like, it's hard initially to get rid of stuff, but it's been nice to just offload it. Just to,
Yeah, it's rejuvenating.
yeah, I don't know what the word is. You become like a slave. You're chained to all your things, to your stuff, and to not have that, now we're free. That's the word. We're free to go do what we want to do. Right? So there's still a few things that we're working on selling, but that's the plan, is to ultimately sell it all.
Yeah, and have the odd thing, like he said, in storage and see where God leads us. And we've talked about that. He talks about farm and buying a bunch of farmland for our children and things like that. But we've had a discussion also with that too. But maybe that's not what God wants for our lives, and we are. My eyes are watering. I'm not crying.
Well, for years and years, we have asked the question, what's the point? Why bother? Like, what is the point? And I think it's silly. A lot of people that I know work a job they don't even like, and they spend 40 years at that job so that they can retire and then finally enjoy life. And it seems so pointless. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just enjoy life now? And not only that, why, like, life can be so unfulfilling. You spend all this time building an earthly kingdom. What's the point? Like, you can't take any of that with you. Why not leave something more? You know, we've heard good sermons before that your tombstone has 2 dates on it, And those dates are really quite meaningless, but it's the dash in between that's the meaning. And what is your dash? What does it represent, right? So did you spend that whole dash building an earthly kingdom that is just going to rot and decay? Or did you spend it building God's kingdom or doing something more meaningful? And that's something that's always kind of been playing around there, right? You've always wanted to help, teenage girls that are troubled, right? It bothers me that people don't have access to food or water, right? And we're farmers. That's what we do. We construct things. We're construction, and we're farming. And if we could teach somebody else how to do that, or if we could teach people how to, build a house, build a better shelter, or drill a well, or show them these things, or bless them with the produce of our labors, kind of incorporate all that, or even, with disadvantaged families to take them in, whether it's an orphanage or, I don't know, the list could go on. It's something that's always kind of been on our heart and on our children as well.
Yeah, and it's really, really been bothering us in the last little while I just feel like we're so selfish as humans on this earth, and what is the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, having said that, we don't know where we're going. We don't know what we're doing. We're honestly trying to let God lead us. We
do have some
We have
thoughts.
ideas and we have thoughts, but we are going to take a little bit of time just to travel and see God's creation and maybe meet some of you people watching our videos.
Yeah.
It would be really cool to meet some of our followers that have encouraged us and
There are areas in our country, in the States, that are more conservative and more Christian still. The Western world as a whole, though, is in really bad shape as far as Christianity. Now, having said that also creates a need. That means, somebody's got to reach these people, got to spread the message. So there is a need here as well. So we're not ruling out living here. Obviously these people need to be reached, and if that's God's calling for us to work with people here, then obviously we want to do that. But we are looking at other options as well, because there are countries in the world that are far more Christian and heading in a more Christian direction than what we have here. At least here in Canada, we see that decline very, very fast. It's staggering, the stuff that's going on right now. I'm not going to go on. It'd probably get pulled off of YouTube if I tried to explain that. But I think anybody with half a brain can kind of see the directions that we're headed here, and it ain't good. And that's been something that's been very concerning for us for the last couple of years, for sure.
Yeah, how quickly it turned, how quickly things have changed, how quickly we've lacked how quickly the control of us being our children's parents. And so
yeah, we can touch on that one a little bit without going into too much detail, but there are people who are well-meaning, good Christian people who are trying to raise their children, in a biblically good way, who are at risk of losing their children. And some people have already lost rights because they're trying to stand up for what's right and for what's true. And where does that leave those children then, right? Those innocent minds would then be at the mercy of the state. And we're just, more and more we're not comfortable with that. Yeah. So that's part of it, definitely, is the religious side is our biggest drive, I would say. And then obviously added to that a deep need inside to do something more with life. We have all these talents we've been blessed with. If we could use that to bless other people somehow, to make the world a better place, that would be really cool.
No, having said that, we have no idea how that's going to look.
No, we don't.
What that picture is going to be.
We ask for your prayers on that one.
Yes,
for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. We have had many, many thoughts, and we think that God is leading us one direction, and obviously, then we think that maybe we figured it all out, and then it completely changes. So we just want to be open completely to His leading, and that's why we felt this time that we were going to just sell everything, and
then there's no chains keeping us to one area or another. We can't say, well, we can't move there because we have all this stuff. No, we have no more stuff. Everything's going to fit in this motorhome. The motorhome's going to stay here because this is where our family is. If we come back, we have a place to live.
Potentially, yeah. We have other ideas too, but
for
now.
But anyway, aside from that, the idea was basically 1 or 2 suitcases each, and that allows us to go anywhere. and if God opens a door, then we could take that, right?
Right.
So there's still the side that we would like to farm bigger. If we can get more land, that's great, but we don't want that to become the primary focus, because then we're again building an earthly kingdom.
And being bigger is not necessarily, I fear that people in the Western world, hearing you say bigger farms, right away think of those industrial size farms and
Yeah,
things
we
like
don't
that.
really want that.
That's not what we want. We want a community where our children do not have to leave us. Like, they can if they want. If they want to go and do bigger and better things in life, that's great.
But to present the opportunity that we have, like,
Yeah, so if
we weren't given anything. We've worked really hard to have this chunk of land, and it's been a lot of hard work, and it's almost impossible for anyone to do that nowadays.
Right, so if you move into an area and we love this area and we get stuck to this area and we never choose to leave this area because, well, we love it here, eventually it almost forces our children to have to leave this area to either find work, go to school,
Find affordable land or house.
affordable anything. And our whole purpose on this earth is to raise our children, and we would really like community. We would like our children to stay close to us. We would like our children and grandchildren one day to, you know, be around, and I don't see that here, because there just isn't enough land in that aspect for them to become farmers and to have their own homes and to build that community that we would really like. And there could be, but the problem is that obviously more and more people are moving in, the land prices are getting driven up, and it's getting really hard for a normal person to be able to just buy land and make a living. Now, having
So that's
said
forward
that,
thinking is what we're trying to do.
we could, if we wanted to, like, we could totally stay here and have a really good life. But in the future, we just see it's not possible for our children, and it really breaks our heart.
It would be selfish of us to stay.
Very much.
And the longer we stay here, the deeper the roots get. We absolutely love that. There's not, I've said this over and over, that there's nothing here that I don't like, other than our government and the direction we're headed in. But I mean, physically, with the location we live in, the farm that we have, the life that we've built here, the neighbors that we have, the whole community. This is by far the best place we've ever lived.
Yeah. So we're definitely laying down south by selling this and moving.
It's a tough one. Yeah.
It very much is.
But again, forward thinking, we just know in our hearts it's the right thing to do.
Right.
What that means for us, though, we don't know. We don't know what the future is. We're going to miss a whole year of homesteading this year. We're not going to have, our own food to grow. Hopefully there's lots of farmers markets we can go to and pick up stuff. You did
Now,
bring
having said that, we
pressure
have
canner
some really
with,
cool videos coming of just exactly that. I'm going to try to bring homesteading on the road with us a little bit.
as much as we can.
Yeah, and do some canning on the road and preserving and things like that.
So people keep asking us, where are you going? We honestly don't. We're
know.
not lying to you. We don't know. We're like, we have some ideas of like, hey, this is what I'd like and this is what you'd like. But at the same time, we want to leave it totally open, because we want to go with God's leading. We don't want to end up, somewhere where He doesn't want us to be. So if we leave the door totally open, then, there's availability for Him to present the right opportunity, what He feels is best, where He would like us to be. So, I have an inclination. I could tell you right now where I would like to go, but that might not be where we end up. So what's the point in telling you that?
Yeah, and we change all the time too with our thinking. We're very forward-thinking people, so we're always thinking maybe too much. So we are planning on taking a little vacation, seeing some wonderful creations. I would love to see the Grand Canyon. That's something I've always wanted to see, and I would love to see those giant trees on the west coast.
Yeah, and I want to see the Ark encounter.
Yeah, so there is a few places.
We'll drive around for a bit.
Yeah, that we would like to see.
That's another thing,
like
I guess.
I said, a few of you.
We've run into a lot of people who, like I was saying earlier, that spend their whole lives working so that they can retire when they're old, and then they're almost too crippled to enjoy life. And again, that doesn't make sense. Why don't you enjoy life now? And so we've always tried to take a little bit of holidays here and there when we can afford it with the children. And now, same thing. We're going to take this opportunity to see some things that. Just eye-opening. Like the pictures we've seen of the Grand Canyon is amazing, and to see a life-size replica of Noah's Ark, that's going to be mind-blowing.
We'd really like to see,
God's rugged
awesome,
beauty.
Yeah, how awesome our God is, and
yep. Absolutely. So I
on
don't
that
know what
note,
else you need to touch on. We got any more secrets you're keeping from these people?
I don't know. They have to stay tuned to see, I guess.
So there's mixed feelings. Everybody's excited about seeing what's next, what we can do. Like Cora and Wes both are very interested in the orphanage idea and helping other people that are, have less opportunity, less advantages than we do. If we can help them out, they're super thrilled about that. But then there's the side of, the selfish side, I guess you could call it. But we miss this. We love this. Yeah.
And a lot of people won't understand, and we don't expect you to understand.
No.
But that's fine. You can follow along and watch us on our journey and see where we end up, and hope that we're making the right choice here. Well,
there again, we ask for your prayers. Pray for us. That'd be very important. We need that.
Absolutely.
Especially for direction to try to figure out, discerning God's will. That's
very challenging.
That's always a challenge. Sometimes it's easy for me to say, well, God's will for you is this or this, right? We all have an easy time telling somebody else what to do, but to really figure out, lay down the self and figure out what is God asking of us, it's a tough one. So join us on that journey.
And like we were saying, some of you, we might be able to stop by or meet up or whatever on our journey to finally get to meet some of you in person. That would be really, really cool. Finally put a face to the name that we see on our comments down below. So
I noticed the other day,
really cool.
I missed some comment. There was a comment added to a comment or something, and I didn't see it. It was a couple weeks old. So probably the best way to reach out is just, well, you drop your comments, absolutely, because I try to read every single comment and always comment back. But if you don't hear back, I guess, or whatever, maybe just drop us an email. Those very rarely get missed. I believe the email address is in the description as well, or not?
Not always, but I can put it in this description.
Stick it down there. And then Facebook is another way.
Yeah,
people could reach out to you.
Messenger, yeah.
Instagram, I know nothing about any of that kind of stuff.
But I think you can reach us there as well.
So if that's something you're interested in, I don't know. Again, like, we don't plan. We don't say, hey, we're going to go here, we're going to be there that day or that day. We just go.
But if we're rolling through
free.
a certain city or a certain town or a certain area and you're nearby and we know that you're there, then we might be able to just meet up and say, hey, how's it going? And put you on our maybe one of our videos. That would be kind of cool. So on that note, we again ask for your prayers, and we will sign off.
Long story short, I think what we're trying to say is we sold our farm.
Yes, and we're moving.
And we're moving to who knows where.
Yeah.
That's it.
Stay tuned.
God bless you all. Catch you later.
We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you.